The end of the Aussie coal era. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee. We need to look at this article written by Stefan Kukulis from Yahoo Finance about the end of Australia's coal era. Now, the reason why I want to look at this is for one very something's caught my eye. And that's because coal is now over $200 a ton. $210 USD a ton, guys. It's right up there. Now, I remember when it was, we were looking back at 150, even less. And that was causing a lot of capex and investment in the coal sector. 210, I think we know why the Chinese are cutting back on their power production. So apparently, according to Stefan Kukulis, the writing's on the wall. Australia's coal era is over. Now, this is written from today. So, yesterday coal didn't have that spike, but it's still bloody high yesterday. So let's see how this era is over, everyone. So, as the fringe of Australian politics strive to pump up the coal industry, facts show that coal production has started its long-run decline. Okay. There's still demand for it. We still need coal to make steel. There's still a large number of people that use coal to make power. If we were to reduce all of the carbon emissions that Australia made, it would make no difference at all to the entire planet. The number of coal power plants in China, in India. Anyway, it's. I need to make sure I don't go too far from my microphone. Apparently it's over, guys. It's over. So, coal production in Australia and around the world has started to fall as energy producers rapidly move towards renewables. Not many issues are more certain in economics and finance than the demise of coal as a source of energy generation. Okay, let's just bring up this chart here. Hang on. Okay, not this chart, this website. This is the Australian energy market right now. And as I'm recording this at 8:30 in the evening, this is all along the east coast and South Australia. This is all energy production here. So all of these guys, these wind farms are producing, well, not very much, 8% of their capacity. Some on the coast are doing okay. Victorians love their wind farms. Here are the big coal plants. Both running over 100% of capacity here. Looks like they don't have any of the gas turbines kicking in, so they don't need to run those. But if we scroll down here, we can see energy production. Now, if we turn off, let's keep the total on. Turn off everything but coal, okay? Turn that off. Boom, boom, boom. So there you go. Look at that. Look at how much. This is for the east coast of Australia. It's not just Victoria, which I'm showing here. So all the way up here. Okay. Look at that, everyone. How much it's produced by coal. Yeah. Okay. Sure. It's going to be replaced by renewables. Let's add natural gas onto that. Diesel, kerosene. What's this one here? Hang on. Waste coal, mine gas, natural gas, coal seam methane. Okay, there we go. So that's all. Yeah. Coal's going away. Sure. I think that's a bit of hopium there. I really think it's a bit of hopium. I mean, this is the danger. I'm really worried that China is going to do a push for net zero and that is going to be remembered as the next great leap forward. Net zero is going to kill people because it's going to reduce just access to power. And access to electricity isn't bad. It keeps people alive. Don't people get this? There's a reason why we have such cushy lives. There's a reason why our quality of life is so high. Being able to just turn on instantly and get energy, clean, efficient. You don't need to burn animal dung. You don't need to burn any rubbish in your house. That's why I don't understand all the greenies that drive up here to Queensland to protest the coal mines, where that coal will go to India, will provide power, which will improve the lives of millions of people. And yet they have the audacity to protest it in a country where they've known nothing but those luxuries. Unbelievable. So, global action on climate change and the extraordinary efficiency gains in renewable power generation. Yeah, but it's not reliable. It's not reliable. It can. I mean, we saw there how many of these wind. There's no way Victoria, right now, if we're looking at this, there's no way Victoria could run on just its renewables, even if you built them all. How much land would you have to clear to be purely renewable? How much embodied energy would you have to have in batteries to store it overnight? And then flip that every 25 years. What about the embodied energy in these things? I did a video on it, the calculations in these wind turbines for the embodied energy and the lifespan to make sure they actually have a net benefit. It's much higher than running at 20% or at 13%. Here you go, here's one running at 0%. Maybe it's turned off. I'm hoping it's turned off. And these things you can't recycle. These wind turbines, you can't recycle. They got to blow them up, and they got to bury the blades full of all of these toxic chemicals that are leaching into the water table. Awesome. Do people not? I don't think people understand embodied energy. Hang on, do I have the definition here? Have I put the definition in here? No, I haven't. I'll have to add it to my list. I don't think it's common knowledge. You know, when you build this renewable stuff, you need to take account for all the energy in the manufacturing and transportation of this here to Australia as well. Otherwise, it's not going to be a net benefit. You've got to remember, you're competing with sticking a pipe down in here, getting gas out, and using that to make power. That's what you're competing with. The embodied energy to do that, or to burn coal, like to move coal from, that mine to that power plant. There you go. There used to be a time we were proud of this stuff. So, but then I remember Koukoulas is the same one that's talking, the same argument that the bushfires are good for the economy. I think he was saying that last year. It's good for the economy because it allows new construction, which is complete bullshit. It's the broken window fallacy. But that's Labor thinking right there. Anyway. According to the ABS, the volume, tonnage, if you like, of Australian coal exports in the June quarter of 2021 fell to its lowest level since September quarter 2013. From the peak volume of coal exports in the December quarter 2016, coal exports have fallen 15%, and the trend is clearly down. This is not a reflection of a fall in Australian market share. Global production of coal peaked in 2014 at 8,165 million tonnes, according to data from the Strategical Review of World Energy. In 2020, global output was 5% lower. Australian output of coal, which is just 6% of the global total, fell to 477 million tonnes in 2020, the lowest annual output since 2014. Can we really compare 2020 to normal years? How much demand for... Let's see where it's sitting in another 2 years. This COVID blip, okay? How much of an impact has that had on production? We're getting supply and material shortages everywhere because factories were shut down. People weren't expanding. Anyway, growth in renewable output, conversely, is booming. Since 2014, the output of renewable energy has risen 93%. It is up a stunning 530% since 2006. This is like someone who says, Bitcoin is up from the beginning of the year so much. It's the future. Sure. The trend for renewables is clear. I wonder how many of this renewable investment would be possible without government subsidies. Of course, coal will still be used for many years to come, but it will be in decreasing volumes. With many countries moving inexorably to renewables and away from coal, the transition will steadily unfold. We'll have to see. How many years this will take is unclear, but it's easy to see the circumstance in 10 or 20 years with coal-fired power plants closing, that coal usage will be markedly lower than it is today, and quality of life will also be lower today. Power will be more expensive, you'll have less industry, and then you'll have a new push suddenly for cheaper power. A political change of winds, and then boom, it'll be back. Investors are already shying away from the coal sector. Banks are scaling back their loan exposure to the coal sector at the same time they're aggressively lending for renewables. Yeah, it's just politics. Remember, we're reading an article from a political advisor here. It is easy to see how these market forces will work. You can't really claim market forces when it's the government stacking the deck. Coal mining opportunities will continue to wither while entrepreneurial renewable... They're not entrepreneurial! How many of these things are completely propped up by government intervention and subsidies? And before all you hippies bitch and moan about the subsidies that are given to the coal industry, okay, not charging the petrol excise for vehicles that don't travel on the roads isn't the same thing as paying individuals to put solar panels on their houses. Okay, that's different. There's a reason why, if the coal companies build all their own roads on the mine, you don't need, they don't have to pay the fuel excise. That kind of makes sense, everyone. And that creates jobs. Where, like in Victoria, where they've subsidized solar panels to such a point, it artificially limits the market every month. Because it's a lottery. If you don't get it this month, half-price panels, if you don't get it this month, you're going to buy and pay double or wait a month. You're going to wait a month. So that, I wonder if there's going to be increased carbon emissions because of reduced investment in solar panels because of government intervention in the market. Might have hit it faster. I wonder if that's the case. Fund managers are also scaling back their exposure to the coal sector as they take account of the investment guidelines which universally focus on solid long-run returns for those trusting to fund the funds to invest their retirement savings. Some in the government and with vested interests still favour coal. Yes, because it's cheaper. And if we reduced all of the carbon emissions from Australia, 1.3% will make no difference in the world. Don't get me wrong, I'm not suggesting we're not having an impact on the planet, on the environment. I'm suggesting that our pathetic attempts to try and mitigate it at this point is so feeble, it's like someone in medieval times applying leeches to their forehead to cure a fever. I think we're going to damage ourselves more and our economies more and restrict innovation, which might actually find potential solutions. I mean, look at Australia. We're now housing's bitch, okay? That's the part of the economy that we're all obsessed with. I don't blame people. It makes sense. But the problem is that destroys innovation in other parts of the economy. Same thing here. If the private sector is willing to invest in coal production, it of course should be free to do so. If it sees a business case for ramping up coal output, that should be allowed to happen, as long as it meets the regulations and other requirements in doing so. See, this is the problem. You regulate it out of competition. Quite plainly, the government should not risk any taxpayer money in such plans, nor should it change the rules, which will give coal sector an unfair advantage. The risks are clearly too high that it will be wasting scarce money. Oh boy. Why do we even care about government wasting money anymore? I mean, come on. Let's not even pretend that makes a difference anymore. We've had our first recession, and, there's our government debt. Yeah, okay, sure. It's even more important that the government will stay well away from coal with the global goal of zero net carbon emissions by 2050 as the world works to slow global warming and climate change. This is just going to be the last bloody gift of the boomers and Gen X's, isn't it? Sending us lockstep to this global net zero 2050 rubbish. If you want to really achieve it, go nuclear, not panels and wind farms. Okay? Nuclear is the most modern technology. We've had windmills for thousands of years, and solar panels, they're 100 years old, 150 years old? They had them at the turn of the century, guys. They're not the revolutionary new tech that everyone thinks that they are. Sure, they're innovating. In the end, global demand for coal has peaked, and that in years ahead, coal output will steadily decline. Many billions of tons of coal will be left in the ground. Fast forward to 2050, and it's likely that coal usage will be limited to some low-income countries and not much else. What about steel? The facts on coal production are already clear. The decline in output in recent years is the start of a trend that any sensible government will be aware of when it makes decisions on whether or not to use taxpayer money in any new coal projects. It would be poor policy to allocate any money or any other resources to promote coal when the writing is on the wall for its demise. So what do you think, everyone? What do you think? We're obviously seeing the author's bias coming right through quite clearly against coal and all in favour of renewables. I've shown you how that if Australia were to become completely carbon neutral, it would make no difference. I've shown you the current price of coal. That's just insane, so it's profitable. And I've shown you how much of our own power is produced by coal. And claims that, well, the 2020 reduction in demand is a start of a trend. Let's wait a bit longer to see. Honestly, I think we're going to do more damage to our economy and potentially destroy innovation that could find real solutions in a pathetic attempt of virtue signaling. What do you think? Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one in the comments down below. If you're a fan and enjoy the news and articles I find and put together here, there are a few ways you can help out. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. Sign up using our referral links to SelfWealth or Stake. Use our other referral links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve or AussieBroadband. Buy our merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, have a great day. I'll see you next time.